Alright, so about 2 months ago, I started trying to make a video game. So after watching several tutorials too, I've seen that people always say like the first step is choosing the engine. I feel like the first engine I tried actually chose me because at the time I was playing a lot of Fortnite.
Stop it. Get some help.
And if you ever play Fortnite on PC, you know that it automatically launches Epic. And Epic always has some type of ads for other games that I literally never ever care about. Now, I don't remember exactly what it said, but it said something along the lines of like make your own video game for free.
Oh my god! Wow!
And yo, I'm like a smart, dumb person. Like, my brain isn't completely smooth, but I got a lot to learn. Like, I didn't even know how easily accessible game engines actually are. Like, how many of them are free and even open source. Like, honestly, looking into game engines and game development itself took me down a large rabbit hole. Because there's so many ways to go about developing a game. And honestly, I'm one of those people that need a challenge. It just makes me want to do it even more. And that's literally why eventually I want to build my own game engine. And like, knowing where my knowledge is now, that seems pretty far-fetched, but whatever, we still gonna lock in though. Beginning this, I knew nothing about coding, never wrote a hello world, like could not read anything, did not know anything about functions, loops, booleans, nothing, had no idea. So first month, I'm really like following tutorials, and then I start hearing about tutorial hell. As I start to look into it, I realize that I'm going towards the same place, and it's basically just following tutorials and still at the end not having an idea of what you're doing. And I really started to realize this was an issue whenever I would finish a tutorial, and I either wanted to build upon that or I wanted to add it to something else or do it again, and I had no idea how I even did it.
How? Hold on, bro. How?
So like this last month and a half have been like a true quest for knowledge. And I'm not even gonna lie, it's hard for several reasons to understand what knowledge you actually need to make video games. I would say it takes a lot of gathering knowledge from different places and trying to put it together. I thought the most important first step for me would be to learn code, because I couldn't even read it, let alone write it or program with it.
What's this? What the fuck is this, motherfucker? Huh?
At first, I was using Code Academy, learning C++ since I was trying to use Unreal. And as far as learning syntax and the basics of C++, it was great for that. Have you ever been in the middle of learning something though, and you're kind of looking for like the success stories of people that have used the same stuff you've used? Well, that's what I'm doing, and I come across a Reddit post, and this person's basically like, Code Academy is cool, but have you ever heard of OSSU? Nah. OSSU is Open Source Society University. It is a compilation of free courses to have the equivalent of a computer science degree. So far, I only taken one course in OSSU, and that's CS50. CS50 introduced me to another programming language, which is Python, which introduced me to Godot. As I understood more and more about programming with Python, I understood that you still have to do your own projects in order for you to really learn. And what other projects should I be working on other than what made me decide to get into coding anyway? And honestly, that's what I learned from looking into the computer science degree, is that your projects at the end is normally what determines what type of work you go into. And normally they're working on this final project like from year one to their final year. You can choose for that to be almost anything. If you plan on using that degree to be a game developer though, then your final project should be a game. I said all that to say that seasoned game developers will literally tell you the same thing, which is just start making games. With that being said, let's just start making a game. So today's August 27th. I started about July 6th, so that means I have about 10 days left. And you're probably wondering what I have accomplished. And the answer is really nothing. You know, not exactly nothing. I've been working, I've been trying, but I have no project that resembles anything close to a game loop. I got 10 days to try to accomplish that because I want this to be a success story. I'm going to use Godot only because it feels more user-friendly to me. I feel like I could accomplish more in Godot in 10 days than I could in Unreal in 10 days. So let's see how this goes. Alright, so first things first, I decided to get player movement and stuff down. I decided to try to make like a FPS style game, so I wanted to get player movement down first. Then after getting that down, I worked on getting the terrain, which I tried to make my own terrain. I used Nomad Scope on iPad. That didn't work out too well, but I did end up finding a tutorial on a height map terrain plugin, so I used that. After getting the height map terrain done, I wanted to add a gun because this is a first person shooter, so that's what I did next. I added the gun. I made the 3D model for the gun myself in Nomad Scope. At the time, I had a problem with the textures loading, but to be honest, it was something I didn't want to deal with at the moment. So I just moved on for now. Next, I wanted to add grass to the terrain, and it was pretty easy to just paint grass everywhere. Then next, I worked on adding a bullet scene so I could have the gun actually shoot a projectile, which took a little trial and error, but was not that difficult at all. Then I added a few simple gun animations, just a recoil animation and an aim animation. Alright, Alright, then next I wanted to add a few trees, which actually made me solve my shader problem. And I realized what I was doing is I was exporting my files the wrong way out of Nomad. So I was basically getting the 3D object, but like none of the textures. So once I got the tree right, I realized what I did wrong with the gun, and I was able to switch that out too. So after getting that issue fixed, it was time to add collision to the tree. I did that, tested it, then pretty much duplicated those everywhere to make a small forest.